What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having an amazing week. I'm going to wait till a few people come into the live stream and I'm going to explain what I'm saying in the title. It's a very big deal. It's a very important deal. And I think everybody should know about it, what's going on, and why it's important. So I'm going to wait like 5 seconds and then I'm going to begin telling you exactly what happened, excuse me. Okay, so Reuters recently tweeted and reported, they wrote a report. Twitter's just how we get information now. So Reuters said it's official that United States UN ambassadors have said that the United States policy in Syria has just completely changed. It's a very big deal. It's why a lot of people voted for Donald Trump. It's why a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters supported Donald Trump, because what the United States was doing in Syria, according to people like Tulsi Gabbard, who is the Democratic Congresswoman of Hawaii, and other reports, have said that the United States in Syria was lying about what's going on during the Bush and Obama administration and actually giving weapons to terrorists. They weren't fighting ISIS and Al-Qaeda, according to a lot of reports. They were actually funding and supplying weapons to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And Donald Trump, one of the main things he said during his campaign, that was a big reason why, although I was kind of still in the mix, I preferred him over Hillary Clinton, because Hillary wanted to continue to try to kill Assad, the leader of Syria, just like she did in Libya with Gaddafi. She brags about it and laughs about it, killing Gaddafi. He was a huge leader in the world to a lot of people, and she murdered him, and now Libya is a mess. They did that with Saddam Hussein. They said he had weapons of mass destruction. No one knows. I'm not saying it was good there. I'm not saying I know the full truth, but they went and they killed Saddam Hussein. And what has that done for terrorism? What has that done for the Middle East? Absolutely nothing. It's a bigger mess now than it was 10 years ago before we did all this stuff. And they were trying to do that in Syria with Bashar al-Assad, the leader of Syria. And Hillary Clinton said, not only am I going to continue what we're doing in Syria, they say on the news, on fake news, mainstream news, and a lot of politicians, they say they're funding rebels, moderate rebels. They call it moderate rebels. But when you listen to people in Syria and people who've been to Syria, they say there's no such thing as moderate rebels. Anybody that is a moderate rebel instantly gets taken over by Al-Qaeda or ISIS. There's no such thing as moderate rebels. So as the United States government and politicians like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and John McCain and Dick Cheney, they're saying we're funding moderate rebels. But the people of Syria say there's no such thing as moderate rebels. They're lying about the whole situation. Donald Trump said, I'm done with that. You guys killed Assad. I'm sorry, you guys killed Saddam, killed Gaddafi, made the Middle East worse, made America less safe. I'm going to stop doing that. And that's one of the biggest things I liked about Donald Trump, is he said, I'm going to stop that. And officially, reports have confirmed two things over the past 2 weeks. One, that they cut off the weapons flow to terrorists like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So no, we're not giving weapons to these fake moderate rebels anymore. And two, now it's official today that we have stopped trying to overthrow the Assad regime. And this is not just Donald Trump who wants to do this. This is not just our current administration. This is Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who left the lying, corrupt DNC to join Bernie Sanders' campaign. And she's a veteran herself and a congresswoman, a Democratic one. She has said this. She's been to Syria. She's met with Assad. And she's also met with the people of Syria. And she said every single person said, stop funding the terrorists. Tell the United States to stop funding the terrorists. This is her on the ground in Syria talking to people. And I watched a long speech from someone who worked with George Bush and Colin Powell. He was a speechwriter for Colin Powell. He worked very closely with the Bush administration and Colin Powell's work in the Bush administration. And he also said that the United States is on a path of destruction and war, and it might it might sink the whole ship. He said about the chemical weapons in Syria, that's the whole reason we said that we were going in. We said Bashar al-Assad is using chemical weapons on his own people. I've had people tell me that's true. I've had people tell me that's false. I don't know the true story. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But George Bush's close person who was involved in the Bush administration said, you can't even trust that report that there were chemical weapons used because it's not confirmed. And he said, I have multiple friends that are on the ground there and all over Europe and all over the Middle East. And this Bush official said, I can't get one of them to confirm that there are chemical weapons being used by Bashar al-Assad. It might just be another excuse to continue overthrowing dictators and overthrowing democratically elected officials like Assad. And I'm not saying that these are great leaders. I don't know. You know, Saddam, Gaddafi, Bashar al-Assad, I'm not telling you that these are perfect leaders. Nobody's perfect. They might be bad, but you have to understand our interference in the Middle East has been terrible. It has not made it safer for these countries. It has not made it safer for kids and women and children in these countries. It's not made it safer for the United States. It hasn't made it safer for Europe. It's not making it safer what we've been doing. Trump is stopping this. And one thing that concerns me with Trump is, you know, he's increasing violence. He's increasing the military budget. This is alarming to me, absolutely. But the reason that I want to report this accurately is because he deserves a chance, a 4-year chance, to get us out of this mess. Our politicians, and that's what nobody understands. I won't say nobody understands because clearly he won the election, but a lot of opposition, they don't understand that. They're Hillary Clinton supporters. They hate Donald Trump. That's fine. I'm not telling you who to like or dislike. I know a lot of intelligent people that feel that way as well. But what you do have to understand is that during the Obama administration, we went from 1 to 2 countries to 7 different countries. Gaddafi was killed. Saddam Hussein was killed during the Bush and Obama. That whole thing is increasing violence in the Middle East. So there might need to be a little bit more violence. I don't condone hospitals and you know, schools. This is terrible. Innocent civilians is horrible, but there's more pieces to the puzzle than is being reported by the mainstream media. That's all I'm saying. I don't care what you think. A lot of people will say now, of course, like they do with everything, that the only reason Trump is doing this is because of Russia. Russia. They're going to push the Russia narrative, say that's good for Russia. Russia, yes, they got involved in Syria. But what people don't understand is NATO and the United States and Europe have not been following what they said they would do 10, 20 years ago, including to Russia. We had promised at a certain point that we wouldn't do certain things, and now we're all over the Middle East. So once again, it's very likely, oh, we could be all over the Middle East, that's fine, but if Russia is like, hey, I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden everybody freaks out, and we do have to keep an eye on Russia. We do have to be smart about that as well, but this is very, 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 very huge news because a lot of people on the Democratic side, the Republican side, the conservative side, the progressive side, they agree with this to stop trying to kill Bashar al-Assad, stop funding the terrorists that we say that we're trying to stop, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and these are multiple reports. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm not a leaker. You could watch this on CNN. You could talk to Bush officials. You could talk to Obama officials. You could talk to people in the Trump administration. You could talk to progressives who like Bernie Sanders, and they'll all tell you this, that what the narrative of in the Middle East has not been true one way or another. So this is huge news. I think everybody should know about it. And personally, I support this. No, not because I'm a Russian hacker or whatever. No, not because I'm a terrible person. I support this because I personally think this is going to bring peace. I think it's going to bring peace to people in Syria. It's going to bring more peace to the Middle East. And if we keep making plays like this and stop pointing the finger, maybe we can find peace. That's my bit on this. Once again, check it out. The United States now is stopping trying to kill Bashar al-Assad and overthrow that regime. And I think it will be for the better, but we will see. I'm going to make another video. I have 4 videos. I'm going to go live 4 different times and talk about all of the subjects going on today, and I think it's going to be great, so stay tuned. In a minute or two, I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to talk about Planned Parenthood. I'm going to talk about the China news now. Now, all of a sudden, there's China news, and I'm going to talk about why I don't like the news and explain it, so check back in a minute or two. I'm going to go 4 live streams in a row. All right, thank you, guys.